Hey everybody, Brian Von VA here, back at it again with another set of D&D stories, and today we're going to be exploring a concept that I actually kind of feel intrigued about. The idea of banning or restricting a concept or a thing or something at a table. So, without further real talking and to-do, let's talk about DMs of Reddit. One of you banned or restricted and felt completely justified in doing so. And if you have something you'd like to share with us, you can do so in the comments below or on our subreddit r/MrRipper. I don't allow Aarakocra or the variant winged tiefling to have infinite flight until level 3. It's not that I couldn't create all the combat encounters with flight in mind. I always try to include some form of ranged attack options for my combat. It just makes it hard to balance early encounters, combat and otherwise, against a single person's character without feeling like it penalizes the entire party. It makes some exploration trivial, and it feels like it takes away from other players' chance to get some limelight. Now, by level 3, flight isn't exactly a big deal. Between spider, climb, and levitate, it doesn't feel particularly unbalanced anymore. It's just one option. One that is shared by Protector ASMR and a couple other races for more limited time each day, but it's still just an option. One of us here at the MrRipper crew actually has a suggestion for this. Why don't you try tying flight height to their strength score? Something along the lines of a creature being able to fly 5 feet for every 1 point of strength. Say their strength is 10, then they can fly a maximum of 50 feet above their current ground level. This also applies to how much they can carry while flying, but there are already rules for that in the standard encumbrance calculations. Using mind control to force NPCs to draw from the deck of many things. Ooh, the Grog Strong Jaw strategy, which is fun and even funnier when it backfires, like it did for this commenter's party. My party changed the entire campaign by doing almost this, and it was one of the most memorable things that's ever happened. They met with an ancient copper dragon to seek guidance and assistance. They started drawing from his deck of many things and got some good draws, then persuaded him to do the same with a natural 20 from a sorcerer with +9 to persuasion. He drew the card that got 3 wishes. Then he drew the card that reverses alignment. He went from a chaotic good ally to a lawful evil antagonist in a second.
You know, I think you all should die.
Wow, the dragon's got 3 wishes and then immediately became evil. Talk about a run of bad luck. There's more to the story, so let's continue. It really couldn't have gone much worse. And they just explained the entire situation and problem with the cult gathering pieces of an ancient slain dragon's body and recovering the phylacteries of a lich, and that they thought the cult was going to create some kind of super Draco lich. Oh, that's terrifying. They were right, and they gave the cult an ally even more powerful. The best part was that I'd named the dragon Pencilvester. Come on, tell me a bad memory we share, Pencilvester. Come on, Pencilvester. And he was a complete joke of a character up until that point. Oh man, my mind was going a million miles a minute trying to figure out just what to do from there. Actually, I got the order wrong now that I think about it. The first card was the alignment swap. They were all in his mage tower, and he polymorphed out of his human form and back into his dragon form, and said he decided they needed to die. I had them roll initiative, and the party started freaking out. Obviously, the first action was a breath weapon. Almost all of them were in 14d8 acid line because they were all standing together in the top of his tower. They were, I think, level 10-ish, so they weren't dead, but certainly were hurting. One of the PCs realized that Pencilfest said he was going to draw 3 cards, and the party made a compelling case, so I drew again on his next action. 3 wishes. We were laughing our asses off. Then his next action, I drew the last card, which was the service of a 4th level fighter. Not near as a big deal, but, you know, it was still funny. He took a lot of damage and just acid burned through the wall and flew away to be continued later, but man, What a session! I'd never used a deck of many things before, but 2 of my players were moving away and I wanted a memorable last session for them. Boy, was it ever. Yeah, that was a great last session to have, Dutch ovening everybody using acid damage to the top of a tower. That's great! And the name Pencilvester? Come on, I know y'all are Rick and Morty fans. I love it. Sexualization Torture. Now this can't be good at all. The latter just makes me really uncomfortable playing out. Yeah, I get that one. Torture has never been a reliable way of getting information. Victims say whatever they can to make it stop, and someone like an orcish raider or a hobgoblin soldier will gladly die before they tell you their name. But once a player starts, they always just keep going, getting crueler and more unusual. So yeah, that's a hard ban. The only annoying thing is that I actually have an orcish revenant ready to spring on players if they brutalize fodder, rewarded by Groomesh for keeping their mouth shut until dying from their injuries with a chance for revenge. But that means we'll have to play through a torture scenario, so that's really kind of a catch-22. And I don't blame you there, OP. None of us here at the MrRipper crew are particularly big fans of torture scenarios being described by the players. Sometimes it's kind of, necessary, of course, but in those moments we just roll the dice to see if the party intimidates them enough to break. Describing what goes on, well, we don't do that. Now, the lewdest I'd ever let it go is a video game style fade to black. When a player asks how old Myrna Dendrar's daughter is after rescuing them from Red Brand captivity following the brutal murder of her father, I genuinely felt let down and kind of deflated. Like, yeah, she's 18. Congratulations if that's the only thing you're worried about. I'm sure she's ready to mingle and not traumatized at all. So, no, you can't roll a persuasion check. Both are terribly slippery slopes that always make the game worse. And again, I agree with the sexualization as well over here. I can't speak for everybody in the world, but I think that it is a very touchy subject. It's okay to have like a fade to black, like, in The Witcher 3's like, Yennefer, I want to have sex on the back of that unicorn plushie. Whatever. It's a joke. It's a meme. Don't describe anything. But when players start openly trying to fiddle-diddle every NPC they get, yeah, that one has some deep issues. Just go bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Honestly, the only hard limitation I have across all my games is that I don't want PCs fighting each other. The sparring I'm okay with, as it isn't taken to mortal blows typically. But if a situation just devolves into a dick-punching contest, I shut them down fast. The only other thing I can really say that I ban or limit on the regular is stuff like Blood Hunter and content I don't own. In most situations, it's easier for me to crack open a book than fumble through the internet to find something for rules' sake. So if you don't own a copy, assume it's not available unless you show me for approval and give me the links. Oh yeah, one more thing. Also, homebrew that literally disregards the fundamental RP elements of their class. The very first time I ever DM'd, I banned the Lucky Feet because I thought it was too strong. But I also misunderstood it and thought it was the same as Halfling Luck. So that's on me. Hey, everybody makes a mistake and you learn from it. Races that just don't fit my setting. I still allow all player handbook races and then some, so you still have more than 15 races plus sub-races to choose from. But I just can't be bothered to incorporate every race into my homebrew setting. I also don't use setting-specific additional stuff like dragon marks from Eberron, but that isn't really banning something. I would ban stuff like the infinite simulacrum or simulacrum if that ever came up, but I am pretty sure my players would not try stuff like that in the first place. All of them have DM'd before, and 2 still do so regularly, so they have good manners in that field. An extreme exploitation with Wish, Simulacrum, and True Polymorph. Oh god, here we go. The spells on their own are fine, and even common interactions, as an example Wish, then Simulacrum, to avoid the material cost, is fine. It's just any extremely cheesy infinite power exploits, such as Infinite Simulacrum, we just talked about that, Army of Gold Dragons, etc. Now, the biggest issue with this is the balance between the players, not just mechanical differences, but also the narrative pull they can assert on the world. I had thought initially about soft banning these kind of infinite power exploits. As an example, use narrative explanations. Monkey's paw, simulacrums going out of control, divine intervention, etc. Just to keep it in check. But realized even that will create power imbalances between the PCs. Nothing will invalidate the martial PCs more than watching the entire world and cosmos react to the actions of your caster allies, even if negatively, while you might be stopped by a 30-foot high wall on a bad day. Hulk Hogan impressions as character voice are banned at my table. How dare you, brother? My party adopted this voice to play another PC when the player didn't show up. It gradually consumed the PC like a parasite. First, the other players kept trying to RP him when the player was absent, which wasn't our original agreement. Then they made a new, better optimized character sheet for him. This is like low-key bullying. Then the original player started to adopt this character sheet and voice, and soon the meme killed the character. Hulk Hogan voice consumed one of my PCs. So the Hulk Hogan voice is banned at my table.
Oh, what you gonna do, brother, when the Hulk Hogan voice runs wild on you, brother?
And then you have, obviously, what about Randy Savage? Can Randy join the party?
Oh yeah, I'm the cream rising to the top.
Come on.
Gotta have a little bit of fun, brother.
Okay, this one's an interesting one. Redo characters. I once had a player play the same changing rogue 5 times. 5 different times. Never once engaged in roleplay, barely participated in fights, just stole teeth from dead enemies. So they're banned. Both the player and playing the same character over and over. I'll be the first to admit I've played the same character twice, but it was because the 2 campaigns weren't in the same world and I changed his class and everything. This player refused to play anything else.
Evil characters. My story is about heroes doing good things.
There were some great responses to this one, so we're going to read some of them here. First, I think the problem is less that evil characters can work, and more that players, mostly who want to create an evil character, want to do it to betray the party or be a murder hobo. An evil player character can do all of these heroic things and earnestly help out the party throughout the campaign, just for selfish goals. Even evil people don't want the world to end. They just want to have less scruples about doing ruthless things that can cause some interesting party character interactions. And secondly, this is why I have no problems with evil characters. If I am playing with friends and I know the player can handle playing an evil character well, even an evil character eventually betraying the party can add to the campaign if it's done well. I have had several villains and even a big bad evil guy once that started out as a player character. It really adds to the story and gets everyone super invested since now they have a personal history with the bad guy. The key is to communicate everything properly with the evil character's player beforehand. But playing with an unknown or new player, yeah, no evil characters please. We can do that once we get to know one another better. Now, I agree with all of this because honestly, I think an ultimate betrayal, storyline, that's something really cool. Or a character that starts off good and develops evil or dark tendencies because of all the tragedies and horrible things they've seen. Again, we can explore this concept for hours. In fact, I almost kind of want to talk about a whole thing of just straight up evil characters. Not so much like, oh, my character's a dark, edgy goth rogue. It's like, shut up there, Mr. Eric Draven. How about we talk about the character who's just been brutally beaten down until he just couldn't stand it anymore. And he just said, screw it, time to join the dark side. Hey everybody, it's your boy Brian Von VA here, back at it again, checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and to post a comment down below or on our subreddit r/MrRipper telling us a story that you'd like to share that's relevant to today's video, or really anything else. You can start your own thread on the subreddit if you'd like. If anyone out there wants to talk about evil characters, please start it on the subreddit Daddy Vaughn. He really wants to know about them now. That being said, if you want to come check out Daddy Vaughn, you can do so on my Twitch, Brian Vaughn VA, or you can see all my socials down below in my own website in the description, brianvaughnva.com. I'm a voice actor, so I gotta rep myself a little bit. That being said, I want to end things on a positive note, I suppose. I've been through a lot of hell since the last couple of recordings, and none of you will actually see the time difference between recordings. Now, me, I record things at a very weirdly scheduled rate. And the things I've gone through have really opened my eyes to the strength of character that humans have. And I just want to tell people, the world is very much on fire. And as of the release of this set of stories, I don't know how the world's going to be. But I know the world is on fire. And I just want everyone here to know that you are all welcome here in this community. We love you. We want you to be safe and happy and to enjoy not only your own life, but D&D and all your hobbies too. I don't want anyone out there to tell you who you are, what you can do and can't do. That's for you to decide. As long as you're a good person and you're not hurting nobody or yourself, because you matter too, obviously, then you're fine. The world will get better. It will heal, just like every wound, it will heal. Trust yourself, trust the people you love, work hard, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.